And welcome to the Sports Savage. I'm your host, Garrett Savage from sunny Los Angeles, California. And of course, I'm joined by smooth talking Sammie out of Orlando, Florida. What's up, Sammie?
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, yo, yo. What'd you think of the first one, man? We got some positive feedback, some positive notes and stuff like that. What'd you think?
Yeah, I think it was the start of something special, man. Happy to keep things going. Shout out to all the feedback we received and all the fans we're continuing to grow.
All the fans, all 7 subscribers. But hey, if you like the show, like it, comment on it, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, all that. Speaking of fans, I want to tell a quick story. It's not sports related at all, but my brother called me right after the last one came out. You know, he was pretty happy about it. The first question that came out of his mouth, though, goes, "Were those ads real?" Dude, David Duke's name. Well, I thought that one. Let me give you a little background on my brother. My brother put a pencil in the microwave to quote, "I wanted to see it bend." Like the trick where you do like that, that wasn't enough for him. Another time, he, like I was vacuuming and I could smell something. It smelled like a dead cat. I was like, "What's that smell?" We opened up the vacuum bag, and this is when bags, were like, paper bags. He had admitted that he puked in the middle of the night, then vacuumed up the puke, and then didn't change the bag out. Free. My dad said they went to go eat dinner at his house, right? And they're gonna have like spaghetti. So they got these bowls of spaghetti, the garlic bread. Then there's a big bottle of ranch on the table. And then my brother takes the bottle of ranch and goes, "Tonight we're eating Italian." Puts ranch all over the spaghetti. So that's just
Oh no.
that's kind of the fans we have, Sammie. People that put pencils in microwaves, put ranch on spaghetti, and vacuum up their own vomit. But you know what? A fan is a fan, and I'll take them any day of the week.
That sounds like our demographic right there.
So we'll get into Sunday Night Football. Browns, Rams. It was kind of an ugly game, but the Rams ended up winning. Browns had a chance to tie it at the end. They didn't. What'd you think?
Yeah, Browns pulled off the W, even though Jared Goff did pretty much everything he could to give it away. If I'm Sean McVay, I'm really looking at the highest paid player in the league a little questionably. That turnover towards the end of the game was a little suspect, as well as it wasn't a protection issue. It really was just a bad throw. If you're Freddie Kitchens, you were saved by a pretty good defensive outing. Got some question marks with Baker as far as what he's going to do when that first read isn't open. And your high price receivers not really getting the ball, so that could turn into some things going forward.
Yeah, I mean, with the Browns, if you're a Browns fan, you got a loaded schedule coming up. The fact you couldn't beat the Rams, your next games are going to be at Baltimore, at San Francisco versus Seattle, at New England. I mean, those are 4 games that they could lose, and then they could end up going 1-6, 1-7. The Browns just don't look like they're there. Maybe there's too many cooks in Freddie Kitchens' kitchen. Maybe he doesn't know who to get the ball to.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a gunslinger in Baker Mayfield who's in love with his first option, that being OBJ, how could you blame him? I don't know if it's more so a play call issue more than an execution issue. You got to run the ball when you got a guy like Nick Chubb. But with that being said, they were still in position to at least tie the game with the final drive of the game. So with that being said, I feel like it's more of an indictment of the LA Rams team who's coming off that Super Bowl hangover, not being able to get the job done and maybe having a little higher expectations than it needed this season going forward with the talent that they have.
What's going on with Gurley? I mean, I know he got hurt at the end of the year. They say he's fine. He's on the field a lot, doesn't touch the ball a lot. Like, if I'm, a Rams fan, like, I'm a little worried.
I mean, I don't think anybody but Todd Gurley really knows what's going on with that knee. At some moments, any given play, he looks like the Todd Gurley of old who could bust out for any play and give you some big yardage and that toughness on the goal line. But tonight and really this season, it's really been a lot more here and there type of opportunities with him when he gets those rushes. I'd be a little scared if I was a Los Angeles Rams fan and supporter.
Yeah. We'll go on to the other games. My Vikings crushed the Raiders by 20 points. Dalvin Cook had 110 yards. You know, he's the leading rusher in the NFL. And this is the tale of two Vikings teams right now. I mean, we're dominant at home, but when we go on the road, you know, we forget to bring our playbook. We forget to do this. You know, I like the Vikings as a Vikings fan, but you know, when it comes down, because that was an easy game, but like when it comes to the big games, you know, we got bobblehead Kirk Cousins, who for whatever reason can't get the ball over his offensive line. It keeps getting batted down. We got a solid defense, but really, I mean, if we want to make the jump from NFC Championship game to win the NFC Championship to get into the Super Bowl, you know, we got to count on a guy who, quite frankly, historically, you can't count on.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Vikings fan, you gotta love what Cook brings to the table, and you have a lot of weapons. But it's going to come down to Kirk Cousins and what he does in those clutch moments. And is that something you can really count on? I wouldn't really say so. But you paid a lot of money. You don't really have another option. So what do? You bolster the running game. That first round pick that you guys got looking pretty good. So really, what you're going to do is you're going to play complementary football. You're going to lean on the defense, and you're going to hope that Kirk Cousins doesn't do what Kirk Cousins does and make costly mistakes at the end of the game. So we'll see how that goes.
I don't think you'd even heard what you just said. You can't count on Kirk Cousins to do what Kirk Cousins is going to do. I mean, but that is the case, though. Like, you're holding your breath every time this guy's about to throw the football. It's just like, oh, my God. But win's a win. I will take it. We're going to go on to your Ravens. That was a good game. Chiefs-Ravens. You know, people say these are the next, you know, this is the next Brady Manning like rivalry, which I think, you know, as far as star power goes, I think that's correct. Chiefs win 33-28. I mean, Lamar had a good game, wasn't a great game. Mahomes was Mahomes, 374 yards, 3 touchdowns. But, you know, as a Ravens fan, Mark Ingram played well. It was on the road. As a Ravens fan, how did you walk away from that game?
I walked away looking at nothing but the missed opportunities. If it wasn't Lamar Jackson missing on some throws, there was some costly penalties or some ghost calls. But there's no good excuses in football. So with that being said, I think Baltimore is going to grow from this loss. I think that defense got a reality check as far as where it stands in the NFL top tier pedigree. But as far as Lamar Jackson, I believe we have a quarterback in Baltimore. So with the running game, we had Ingram going over 100 yards, 3 touchdowns. So with the combination of a dual running attack with Ingram and Gus Edwards, with Lamar being a little bit more accurate with his passing, especially in between the numbers. He missed Hollywood on a lot of big plays, Hollywood Brown at being down the sidelines of the field, but also missed the tight ends up the middle. So he had to take this one on the chin. You know, it's his first year starting. Brand new offense, but with that being said, tailor-made around him. So the playmakers are there. It's just the plays have to be made. On the Chiefs end, Patrick Mahomes against the toughest defense he's faced all year, he looked no different. It doesn't matter who the playmaker is getting open. He's going to place the ball in a place where it's pretty easy for you to do your job as far as make catches and get that yards after catches. And even without a running game, I don't believe they went over 100 yards rushing. And they were still able to pretty much take a lead and not relinquish it.
We'll move on to Lions-Eagles. Lions beat the Eagles 27-24. First kickoff return of the NFL season. What's more surprising, the Eagles 1-2 or the Lions 2-0-1?
I will have to say Detroit, not suffering a loss 3 games into the season. I wonder what the prop bet on that was out in Vegas. But with that being said, you have to say that coaching staff with Matt Patricia has something going and is building some form of a culture. Now, you can look at their schedule and say, who have they really played? But with that being said, they haven't won against a Super Bowl contender in the Philadelphia Eagles. So Steady Matt is out there still, slinging up yards, not so much in garbage time now. And that defense, who couldn't stop anyone, is looking like, they can make plays. So I definitely have to go with Detroit in answering your question. But even on the Philadelphia side, no one knows what's going on right now. They don't have an identity. Wentz is running for his life, and if he's out there not trying to throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, it pretty much looks like a loss for him.
Yeah, I mean, they tied the Cardinals. They beat the Chargers by 3. They beat the Eagles by 3. So they're winning these close games. Detroit is. And if I'm Philly, I mean, a lot of people were high on Philly this season. I've never been super high on Carson Wentz just because I don't think he can stay healthy enough for a whole season. But, a lot of people like him. The Giants, with your boy, starting in his first game, Daniel Jones, beat the Bucs on a missed field goal. I mean, is a win a win?
Oh, a win's always a win, especially in hostile territory. But DJ looked pretty good to come in the position that he's in to take over the reins for a Hall of Famer in Eli Manning. It took a lot of guts in the plays he made, even if it's against the horse Tampa Bay defense. I was impressed with the young quarterback.
Do you call him DJ? Like it's like your pen name for him. You and DJ hanging out on the weekends and.
Hey man, I'm all about winners, so me and DJ. I got the call when he got the start. He's a Duke guy. Ties, shout out to bro. But yeah, man.
Whatever. We'll talk about this last game. Saints Seahawks. Your boy Teddy B goes on the road, plays well enough to win. What does this mean for the Saints moving forward?
This means that the Saints have, and I'm calling it now, the coach of the year in Sean Payton. If he's able to keep this up and get quality wins with your backup quarterback, not only is he going to probably get Teddy B a good look at another starting job somewhere else, but he's going to take home that coach of the year trophy. If there is a trophy. But I really was impressed with what the Saints were able to do. Again, it seems like the theme this Sunday was good complementary football. They were able to get some special teams touchdowns, some turnovers. So Teddy B was able to get into a rhythm, play with the lead, which is always good for a quarterback who hasn't had a lot of time as far as recent playing meaningful games. So I was really impressed. Pete Carroll, you're calling card for defense, man. You got Russell Wilson out here, one of the top guys in the league, and he can't save you every Sunday. At some point, you have to stop the team from doing, the opposition from doing something. And with a backup quarterback coming into your house with the 12th man, you would definitely expect Seattle to put up more of a fight.
I mean, Russell Wilson had 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, but it still just wasn't enough. So we got an ad read. And that NFL segment was brought to you by Tim Tebow Circumcision Camp. Have you ever wanted to go to a small Filipino town, instill your religion upon them so you can mutilate their genitals? Well, you're in luck. Tim Tebow will personally get someone other than himself to email you about how you can join the camp. Use promo code TheSportsSavage316. You'll get to keep the scissors you use when you come back. Doesn't pay much, but you do get to keep the tips. That's an old joke. Anyway, go into college football. Now, I have a little game I want to play with you, Sammie. It's called Umpire. Like Empire, only a baseball umpire. I don't know why it's related to Empire at all. But I'm going to give you a coach. You have to tell me if it's 1 strike, 2 strikes, 3 strikes, they're out. Okay? So first we're going to start with Jim Harbaugh. Wisconsin rolled Michigan in Camp Randall. It was 35-14. Everybody was expecting Michigan to come back, big Blues back. Is it 1 strike, 2 strike, 3 strikes, you're out for Jim Harbaugh?
He's out of here, man. I can't really defend the Harbaugh story anymore, man. That was a terrible loss. Offense looked bad. The defense looked bad. There's nowhere but down from here. I don't see a win against the hated rival Ohio State. I don't see a win against the in-state rival Michigan State. I really hope somehow he gets at least close to somewhere 6 wins and bows out gracefully because, he's done.
Wisconsin's only given up 14 points the whole season, and that was in the last game. They're rolling right now. Big game that night, Notre Dame, Georgia. Brian Kelly, 1 strike, 2 strike, 3 strikes, you're out.
I say 2 strikes for Brian Kelly. I'm not really a big Notre Dame guy, and I feel like he was a Deshaun Kaiser draft pick away from getting fired a few years ago. So not really a bad loss because he did keep it close throughout that game. But with that being said, when Notre Dame's had some big games in recent memory, they've come out on the back end of a loss. So if you're a powerhouse, if you're a big Power Five school and you're trying to get those big time recruits, you can't keep showing highlights of the losses.
Like, I think the Notre Dame job is a really hard job. One, you're not in a conference, so you pretty much got to win out. Two, you're in South Bend, Indiana. I don't even know what there is to do there. Weather-wise, it's not great. And three, it's a really difficult school to get into. They have higher academic standards than a lot of other people. And it's not, speaking of Indiana, it's not traditionally a hotbed for recruits, so they kind of got to go every which way but loose. And every team's on TV. Back in the day, they would say, well, guess what? We're on TV every Saturday. But guess what? Everyone's on TV nowadays. All that being said, I think Brian Kelly's a good coach. I love the fact that he told his players to fake injuries so they can stop the time, so they can – I mean, they got busted on it, and they need to get some kind of punishment. Even though I'm a Notre Dame fan, I saw them, pushing the guy down so they would, slow the tempo. I think that's a scumbag move. But, hey, you don't want it to your team. I don't care. Notre Dame Twitter.
You ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
That's it. Notre Dame Twitter wants Brian Kelly's head. They want to bring in Urban Meyer, which I could see happening, even though I think Urban Meyer's going to go to USC. But, I mean, Urban Meyer's a scumbag, and if he goes to Notre Dame, I will no longer be a Notre Dame fan. But, old Urb, Urban's coming back, right?
Oh, he's coming back, and it's going to be for a lot of money and in a premium situation. I lean your way as well. I tend to see USC over Notre Dame, just simply for the arguments that you made for the difficulty of Notre Dame. So would Urban Meyer be up to that task of bringing a Notre Dame back to power when he can kind of go to a USC in a weaker Pac-12 division, score a lot of points, or conference, I should say, score a lot of points and somehow end up in a college football playoff. So, yeah, he definitely comes back. If you're Notre Dame, I can definitely understand why you would hold on to Brian Kelly, because you fire a coach, you got to bring one in. So who's going to be better? But, again, if you keep losing those big games, it's kind of hard to make an argument for you to keep your job.
Yeah. All right, your team, UCF, blew it.
Tough week.
Feisty pet team. 1 strike, 2 strike, 3 strikes are out for the college football playoff.
Oh, man, we're out of here, man. Just realistically, we were getting no love going in, and we knew we were a loss away from any type of playoff contention. It's funny enough, watching the game live, even one of the ESPN commentators or game callers just wasn't feeling us all night. I mean, all day, just really coming up with ways to take shots at us, either being a small program or our scheduling not being good enough to really deserve any type of respect. But with that being said, we still got everything ahead of us realistically. I don't believe we won out. We were going to get a playoff invite, so we can definitely still win the American Conference, get a nice bowl game with a respectable Power 5 team, and if we're able to beat them handily, then we'll still get the major goal accomplished, which is eyes from the nation on our school and football team.
Yeah, until they move into another conference, there's just no way. They play UConn, Cincinnati, ECU, Temple, Houston, Tulsa, Tulane, USF. I mean, there's no ranked games on that schedule. So even if they beat everybody 55-0, they're still not going to get any love. And people who aren't, I was in Orlando. I went to UCF for a semester. So, I have some skin in the games, but I can understand how other people are it's just that pesty UCF team. But, me and you, we've discussed this before. They have the potential to be a powerhouse.
Absolutely. Great area, prime time recruiting. You can get all the Florida kids who, for whatever reason, aren't able to get into the major Florida schools, as far as Florida, Miami, Florida State. So it's only a matter of time. They're recruiting kids out of Hawaii with Milton and Gabriel, the freshman that we have now. So once you get the quarterback play in that's able to move the ball down the field and put up points, you get eyeballs on you. So I believe real long term, you'll see UCF make a move out of the American Conference just for that reason that you were talking about, scheduling. But in the meantime, definitely probably accepting a little more 2-on-1s where we're going out to these big name schools, Power Five schools twice a year or twice and getting a home game with them in the trade with that 2-on-1 setup. But yeah, everything's is still ahead of UCF sporting wise, football wise. So definitely be on the lookout.
Oh, so like I said earlier, no one emailed the show. Thanks for that. But my dad, he has a question from one of his friends who can't email, and he wants to know more about Sammie. Did you ever play sports? What do you do? What's your job? All that kind of stuff. So let's get the Sammie experience in 1 minute. Show us what you got.
So yeah, I grew up Orlando, Florida, born and raised. I played youth sports, a little bit of middle school, somewhat high school. I wasn't the superstar athlete, but definitely loved playing the game, basketball, football. Right, I just looked the part. Basketball, football, a little track. But yeah, everything Orlando, I've always been about it, especially sports wise. Not too much known for a sports town, but we're definitely some loyal people. Like most people, we love winners, so we haven't had much winning or going on around here, so you don't really hear much from us. But as far as employment, I do a lot of different things that I don't want to go public with at this moment. But I have a legal job where I receive money from it, and I also do a little sports commentating with the Savage every once in a while.
I think what it means is Sammie's a gigolo. He doesn't want anybody to know he's booming too bad. What was the worst loss you ever saw, Sammie, or ever experienced?
The worst loss I ever experienced, sports wise, has to be Game 2 NBA Finals, Orlando Magic, Los Angeles Lakers. Down by, I want to say it was 2, down by 2. Out of bounds play, perfectly executed for an alley-oop play from Hedo Turkoglu outbounding, throwing it alley-oop play to Courtney Lee, who fumbles the pass right next to the rim. It'll live with me forever. First time ever seeing the squad in the finals. Second time being there as an organization, and I felt like I was in the Staples Center watching that play live from my couch, and it was the beginning of the end. We lose the series in 5 games.
I think mine was the Vikes when we had Brett Favre, we had Percy Harvin, we had Adrian Peterson. We were loaded. We're playing the Saints. We got the lead. I think we had the lead, or we were like in field goal range or something like that. And all we had to do was run the ball and like kick a field goal. For whatever reason, you live by the Favre, you die by the Favre. He throws a pick, the worst pass you ever could have thrown, and like that was it. And I was just like, oh my god, because we were so loaded that year, like we were ready to go. I mean, Vikings have always had crushing losses, field goals and this, that, and the other thing. It's tough.
So much talent. Yeah,
tough when you don't win. Your team's a stinker. But this is the year for the Vikes, baby. Vikings, Baltimore, Super Bowl.
Kirk Cousins. Oh,
yeah.
I would love it because then we'll play Kirk Cousins. So that's a W.
Yeah. Who's the Baltimore's backup?
RG3, Robert Griffin III, the best backup in football.
I think I just insulted you. Like,
duh, we have the best backup in football, RG3.
What about Teddy B?
Teddy B is second, third best, but he's playing well enough to really be a starter. I can't say that RG3 is good enough to start on an NFL team, but Teddy going up to Seattle looks like a starter.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, that's our show. If you liked it, comment on it, email the show, the sports.
Contact us
at gmail.com. You can tweet at me, Garrett W. Savage. I'll even follow you back. I typically don't follow people back, but I will follow you back personally, and I will send you a DM saying thank you for following me. Do you have any questions?
That's love.
Probably won't respond. You'll probably say, "Oh, I friended you by mistake," and then I'll have to delete it, and that's okay, whatever. But we're off to a good start. Next episode will come out on Friday, and we'll have another recap of the week. Anything left to say, Sammie?
Thank you as always to the masses. Can't wait to see you guys soon. Tune in. It's only the beginning.
That's right. All right, we're out of here. Peace.
Peace.